let's talk about how we would use technology to get the same results as we just did by hand. So our TI-84 calculator will find the mean and the median of any quantitative data. Which makes sense because remember, we cannot find the mean and the median for qualitative data, and we can't enter that in the calculator anyway. So, to put your data in the list one, because first you have to enter the data, you hit the stat key, which is right underneath the delete key to the left of the arrow keypad. So you hit stat. Anything in a box is a calculator key. Then we have this arrow which just says next thing, look for, usually it's a menu. And then the next thing will be the option under the menu. So we hit the stat key, and we see we're already in the edit menu. We can tell because it's highlighted. And the number one edit option is also already selected. So all we have to do is hit enter. And then you see a list of data. So yours might be empty. If it is, that's fabulous. If not, you can clear it out by arrowing up so that the L1, the name of the list, is highlighted, and then hit clear and then enter. That will always clear out your lists. Now, if your list one happens to be missing, or you do like I sometimes do and you want to clear the list, so you highlight L1 and hit delete, notice I no longer have a list one. It's gone. That's okay. If that happens, you hit the stat key, and under the edit menu, you go to number 5, set up editor. When you hit enter, you see it says set up editor. You're gonna want to hit enter again. Now it says done. So if you go back to your list by hitting stat and then enter, you'll see that our L1 is back. And if you had any data in there that you hadn't cleared out, it would still be in there. So don't worry about that. So C is to restore missing lists. Okay, if you want to enter a number, you just type the number, and you see how it says L1 parentheses 1? That means that 89 is going to be my first data value in list 1. Now if I type another one, so 25 is now going to be my second data value. That's what the number in parentheses tells me in list 1. So we can do that as many times as we want to. When we're done entering the data, you hit the second key, which is at the top left, and the mode key. And if you see, there's a little quit above the mode key. And so anything that's the color of your second key that's printed above a key, it's like hitting shift. So second and then mode takes me to quit. And that always takes me to the home screen. So anytime you're stuck in something, hit second mode, and that will always get you to the home screen. Okay. If I want to calculate my mean and my median, I hit the stat key, and this time I want the calc menu. So I right arrow till the calc menu is highlighted. And now you see we have a bunch of different options under this menu. We want number one var stats. So we'll hit enter. List should always be whichever list you put your data in. I always try to put it in L1. If you need to ever change this, you can get different lists by hitting the second key and then one of the number keypads. So if you can see above the 1, and I know it's hard to see on my calculator, look at yours. Above the 1, there's a little L1. Above the 2, there's a little L2. Above the 3, L3, etc. So you can get any of those different lists by hitting the second key and whichever corresponding number you need. Frequency list for now should be blank. So if for some reason you have like an L2 in your frequency list, just highlight over it and hit clear. And then to calculate, you would hit enter. And you'll get some results, which we'll talk about here in a minute when we actually go do a problem. So I'm going to second mode to take me back to my home screen. So the output we're interested in right now. The calculator calls the mean X bar. And it doesn't matter whether we have a population or a sample. It always gives us the mean as X bar. You have to decide if the data is from a population, meaning we use that Greek letter mu for the mean, or from a sample, which means we use X bar. So most of the problems in MyLabs Plus will give you both options, the population and the sample mean, and it's up to you to know which one is the correct symbol and then put the actual number in the answer box next to it. The median we have to get to by scrolling down in that output list, and it is MED. So that is what the calculator calls the median. Now, sadly, the calculator cannot find the mode for us, but it can sort the data in order, either ascending or descending. So if you hit the stat key on your calculator, and under the edit menu, if you pick number 2, sort A, and hit enter. Now we have to tell it which list, so I want it to do list 1. So I will say second and the number 1 key. And then you should close your parentheses, but you don't have to. You can just hit enter and it says done. So if I go back now by hitting stat, edit, and going into edit to see my lists, you'll see that it's arranged my list in order from smallest to largest. And then you can scan through and it will help you determine the mode. So let's actually try an example here. So I am going to clear my data out that I was just using to show you how to enter things. We're going to use the calculator to find the mean, median, and mode of the following data sets. So I'm going to start from the home screen here. So from the home screen, we hit Stat. And we want to edit our list, so we leave it on Edit, number 1 Edit, and hit Enter. Now we're going to type all these numbers in. 3960, enter. 4090, enter. 3200, enter. 3100, enter. 2940, 3830, 4090, 4040, and 3780. Now I'm going to go back and proofread my list just to make sure that I didn't mess any up, because it's easy to typo, and getting one number a little bit wrong will cause you to get the answer wrong in my labs, and it will frustrate you. So do yourself a favor and always double check your entries before you start to calculate. So I got 3780, 4040, 4090, 3830, 2940, 3100. I'm going to arrow up to see the rest of them since I started at the bottom. 3200, 4090, and 3960. Okay, great. I have my list complete and accurate. So now I'm going to hit second mode to get out of there. And then I'm going to hit Stat and go over to the Calc menu. And I want the first option that's already highlighted, one var stat, so I'll hit Enter. My data is in list 1, frequency list is blank, so I will scroll down and hit Calculate. Now it says my X bar, so that's my mean, is 3,670. And we'll assume this is a sample, so X bar is indeed the correct thing to use. Okay, to get to the median, you see this little arrow here by the n equals 9? First of all, that n equals 9 tells us we have 9 data points. That's a good thing to check. If we use the arrow keys and scroll down, here's MED, the median. So our median is 3,830. Now remember, it won't do the mode for us, but we can arrange the data so that it will. So so that it makes it easier for us. Let's go to Stat again. And remember, we want to sort ascending, so that's the second option under Edit. Hit Enter. Tell it list 1 by hitting second L1 and then Enter. And then we need to go Stat and edit our list again so we can see what it is. So now we look, since it's in order, there's only 129.40, 130.100, 132.100, 137.80. We still only have one data value. Oh, look, we have two 4090s. That means 4090 is our mode because there's 2 of them and only 1 of everything else. So this is a unimodal, if we were going to call it something, because there's 1 value that's the mode. I will be adding a video to the lesson after this that will teach you how to use StatCrunch. So please watch that video, as it can be very helpful for the larger data sets in the homework.